Welcome!
Hello!
So today, here we are, all the way up at number 6. Here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 is Ajna Chakra, located here. So I'm going to read a little bit from Hatha Yoga Pradipika. It's a very old text. I think it's from the 15th century, written by... I'm not exactly sure who wrote this one originally. Maharishi Svatmarama was the person who compiled this, essentially, yoga encyclopedia, telling you about how to go about doing yoga, from cleaning the body to all the stretches to meditation and achieving bliss. But what he says about Ajna Chakra is that at the top of the spinal column, at the medulla oblongata, is one of the most important chakras, Ajna Chakra, which has 2 silvery gray or clear petals. It's also portrayed as having purple petals. Above Vishuddhi the chakras are mainly concerned with higher intelligence. Ajna Chakra is the command center. It operates in conjunction with the reticular activating system, medulla oblongata, and the pineal gland. Ajna Chakra is the 3rd eye through which the whole subtle world can be perceived. It is known as the gateway to liberation. And we might also mention a little something about prana that's in this book as well. And there's a little section about chakras, which is prana is accumulated in the 6, or in our case 7, main centers along the spinal column. These centers are located in the subtle body and correspond to the nerve plexuses in the physical body. In the subtle body, they are known as chakras, which means a circling motion or wheel. So now you have it straight from the sage's mouth. So for this practice today, you will need an object. So feel free to pause the video when you go find this object. It can be a small, round, whitish kind of thing. You could use a pebble. I know this is gray, but it's whitish. You could use a little shell, something like that. Let's see if I block Brian's face, it'll focus on the shell. You could use a plastic bottle cap. Whatever you got, grab one of these things and meet us seated in our chairs. So Ajna is the command center. I like to think there's a little person right here that's just kind of guiding me throughout the day, and my whole body is just sort of a vehicle for that thing. But that being said, that thing won't exist without the body, and the body doesn't really do much without the command center, which you could also call the brain. So while we sit here, find a comfortable seat and feel free to close your eyes once you see what I'm doing. Take the first 2 fingers of each hand to the middle of the forehead. Find where the eyebrow ridge is. You want to go just above that and right in the center. There should be a little divot around there. And we're just going to take those fingers into that divot and gently draw circles like this on the divot. So I'm just moving the skin in the eyebrow center. And you might think I'm moving my worry lines right here. Sorry, it's so dark. We're just drawing these little circles. This is a practice called Kaplarandra Dauti. It's a cleansing practice for the upper head. So keep doing these little circles. At some point we'll switch directions. When you're ready, switch direction of the little circles, eyes closed. If you're wearing glasses, I should have said earlier, feel free to take them off. Breathing deep, you can engage your 3 or 4 part breathing. Inhaling from the pelvic floor, belly, ribs, upper chest. Exhaling from the upper chest, ribs, belly, pelvic floor. That's 4 part breathing. And then when you're ready, you can bring the fingers to stillness and just start drawing the fingers out along the eyebrows taking them from the center to the edges. You can keep bringing them back to the center, taking them to the edges. You can draw the fingers out above the eyebrows. You can draw the fingers out below the eyebrows, stimulating sinuses. Or you can have one finger above the brow and one below. And then next time the fingers come to the side of the eyes here, the little squishy part right at the edge of the eyebrows, feel free to press in and start drawing circles here. You'll feel your ears moving. This is also a little sort of nearby massage for the vagus nerve, which kind of helps us trigger the parasympathetic nervous system, telling our bodies, hey, time to relax. And when you're ready, you can switch direction, taking those little circles the other way. And then we'll slide the fingers down the face. Feel free to take the hands across the face, smoothing energy down here. Sliding the hands down the neck and brushing out the shoulders. So our breathing practice today is Shen breathing. We're taking a little trip from India to China today, which we'll take that trip again in a bigger way at the end of the practice. Shen breathing is a practice from Qigong. And the idea is, it's very simple, because you brought your fingers here and brought awareness to this part of your body, and feel free to touch it again if you need to sort of feel some awareness at the third eye center. When you inhale, inhale as if you are breathing through that third eye center. Hold the breath under the brain. Exhale as if you're breathing out from the occiput. That's that bone at the back of the head here. So if you need to put one hand at the front and one hand at the back and just kind of massage the area a little bit to bring some awareness there, you can. And when you're ready, we'll inhale through the front of the head. Holding. Exhale through the back. Inhaling through the back. Holding. Exhale through the front. And go back and forth like this for a second. Inhaling through the third eye. Holding under the brain. Exhale through the occiput at the back of the head. Again, inhaling through the occiput. Holding under the brain. Exhale through the third eye, sending it out. You can continue on your own for another couple breaths. And when you're ready, we'll open our eyes, coming back to our bodies. We'll return to that breathing at some point. Feel free to take both hands to the area right where the ribs split. So just right in the center here, your solar plexus. We're going to do a little massage here. You might remember this one from Ajna Chakra, the heart chakra. This is our little heart massage. The key with stimulating the third eye area and getting that chakra, that wheel flowing and rolling and turning happily is staying grounded in the body. It's very easy to get all up in your head and feel ungrounded, and on the one hand it might be exciting to sense all these sort of extra sensory perceptions, these subtle perceptions that come with the opening or stimulating of Ajna Chakra. On the other hand, it is important to stay grounded in the body. When you're ready, switch direction, those little finger rotations here. It's important to stay grounded in the body as you do these practices so you don't just drift off into outer space. Because although it might be fun at the time, it makes it very hard to be a householder, which is what we are. We are people that have jobs and don't live in a monastery on top of a mountain in Tibet. We have responsibilities and duties to uphold and caretake our reality. And so for that reason, we stay grounded in our bodies. All right, so when you're ready, you can release the hands, shake them off, shake off in the chair, and Brian's going to teach us some seated warm-ups for ankles, wrists, neck, knees, elbows, shoulders, seated cat and cow. We'll see if he remembers all those.
I'll hop in all of those. We'll start with our feet. So you can just you can pick up one foot and do these one at a time, or you can just stick out both feet. We're going to rotate just the ankles.
I'm going to show these two.
Making circles. If you have any stuck sticky areas that makes it hard to make a circle, feel free to just take it really slow through those areas. And when you're ready, you can switch the direction that you're rolling your ankles.
I'll do the next one. We'll go back and forth. How's that sound? And then we'll be running through these Palamuktasana series, these rotating joint series pretty quickly today. So when you're ready, step the feet off, waking the feet up. We're going to do wrists next. We take the hands down by our sides, fold the thumbs into the palms, curl the forefingers around the thumbs, and just rotate the wrists at your sides. If you like a little extra, you can inhale the arms up to shoulder height. If your shoulders permit you to go further, take them all the way up overhead. Whether your arms are at shoulder height or overhead, on the exhale, we'll bring the arms in and down, or just straight down from overhead. When they come by your hips, switch directions, rotating the wrists the other way. This time, let's take them in and up to either shoulder height or overhead. On the exhale, take them out and down. And then when the hands come down by your hips, again, lap the hands off. Next, we have just a few real quick, short neck exercises.
So, sitting up nice and tall. Let's look to our right, and then look to the left. And we're just going to go back and forth like that, looking to the right, looking to the left, slowly opening up the neck, loosening the neck. And then the next time you come back to center, let's look up. Try to keep the back of the neck long. Let's look down. Again, we'll keep doing that. If you want to breathe with this, you can inhale as you look up. You can exhale as you look down. And then the next time, and we'll just come back to center. And now we're just going to kind of rock side to side, just tilting the head. Left ear towards the left shoulder, then right ear towards the right shoulder. Stretching the neck, keep it on the sides now.
And then, if you like, you can actually, as you do this, start to bring the chin towards the chest, feeling the stretch in the back of the neck. That's your upper trapezius talking to you. And then maybe lifting the chin, still letting the head rock side to side. You'll feel the muscles in the sides of the neck. That's the sternocleidomastoids talking to you. And then we'll bring the head back to center. Exhale, chin to the chest. Inhale, roll the right ear over the right shoulder. Exhale, chin to chest. Inhale, roll the left ear over the left shoulder. Exhale, chin to chest. We'll go back and forth like this, drawing these upside down rainbows. It's like I'm sitting by a beautiful mountain lake. There's a rainbow over the mountain, and I'm looking at the rainbow in the lake upside down. So inhaling the ear over the shoulder, exhale, chin to chest. Inhaling the other ear over the other shoulder, exhale, chin to chest. And And then next time your chin comes to your chest, we'll inhale, bring the head back up. So we did the extremities, and now we're working everything in towards the center. Knees.
So you can come towards the end of your chair, and you can do this standing up as well. We're going to pick up one leg and just start drawing a circle with our foot. So this is getting some motion a little further up the leg, towards the knee, almost getting towards the hips. When you're ready, switch the direction that you're drawing that circle. And then you can release that leg. Feel free to shake it out if you want. We're going to pick up the other leg. Same thing. Drawing a circle on the floor with your foot. And when you're ready, switch the direction you're drawing that circle. And you can release, shake it out, tap out your feet.
From here, elbows. Take the arms out into a T, straight out from the shoulders. We'll fold the thumbs in, fold the four fingers over the thumbs. 3 options. You can draw circles from the elbows like this with your little elbow propellers facing forwards, or you can draw circles towards the ceiling like this with your elbow propellers facing up, or you can stir 2 pots of soup, taking your elbow propellers straight down. Whichever one you've chosen,
Whack your knee.
whichever one you've chosen, when you're ready, switch directions. Take those elbow propellers the other way. You're stirring the soup, you gotta stir it both ways to really get that flavor mixed in. You're stirring a cake, cinnamon cake. All right, I should stop talking about that. We have not had our lunch yet. When you're ready, we'll do some stuff for the shoulders. You can bring the hands onto the shoulders, and Brian will tell you what to do next.
What are we doing? Rolling them, right?
Yeah,
We're going to
why
roll each shoulder one at a time. You can do this open-handed if that's a little easier for you, or you can do it with hands on the shoulders, just making circles with the shoulders.
And you'll notice my spine is moving side to side here, partly because it's fun and partly because it helps articulate the vertebra of the spine to move it a little bit side to side as you do these shoulder rolls. We'll get more into the spine in a second.
And when you're ready, switch the direction. Now we're rolling those shoulders up and back. Working into the shoulders.
And when you're ready, hands can release, shake them off, shake off in your chair a little bit. I'm going to turn to the side so you can see what I'm doing next. If you're not sitting all the way up on the little edge of your seat like a orchestra violin player, then please do so. Feet are grounded. We're going to take the hands to the knees and do a seated cat-cow practice. Inhaling, opening the heart, tilting the tail back, lifting the head, opening through Vishuddha Chakra, last week's chakra. Exhale, round the back, hold the knees. You can even come up on the toes if you need to. Tuck the chin. Inhale, heart comes forward. Exhale, heart comes back. So we're just going back and forth like this for a second. As you inhale, you expand through the front of the body, filling in. As you exhale, you contract, pushing it all out. And then next time you inhale forward, let's exhale, round the ribs to the right and back. Inhale, round the ribs to the left, forward, exhale, round the ribs to the right and back. So we'll just draw these spinal circles like this. Maybe there's a chorus of chairs, squeaky chairs, symphony of squeaky chairs as you do this. Enjoy their fine music. And then next time the heart comes forward, switch direction, taking those belly rolls, spinal rolls the other way. Inhaling forward, exhaling back. And then next time you come forward, we'll come to stillness. We're going to come to standing and do a little bit of standing warm-ups before we get into the meat of this hopefully fairly meditative practice. So, hip rolls. You want?
Stand with your feet a little wide, maybe hips width distance or bigger, and we're just going to make big circles with the hips. Doesn't matter which direction you go in, because we're just going to flip it at some point. We cover both directions. And when you're ready, switch the direction that you're drawing those giant hip circles. Or it's small, they could be small hip circles as well if it's uncomfortable for you to draw giant hip circles.
And then when you're ready, bring the hips to stillness. This is the fun part, our figure eight. So we'll bring the feet in a little bit here. They don't have to be too close together. Bring one hip forward and back, the other hip comes back. So it's like as my one hip comes back, the other comes forward, and I'm just drawing a figure eight on the ground as if there's a pencil coming down from the tip of my spine, just drawing this figure eight on the ground. If you want to involve the arms, you could try a backstroke as you do this figure eight. You really get the spine some attention and love if you try that. If you prefer to keep the hands on the hips, that's fine. And you can always put the hands on the shoulders again too. That's another option. And then when you're ready, come back to stillness, shake it off a bit if you're starting to get up in your head. This time, the hip comes back and then forward, and then the other hip comes forward. So,
just switching the direction
yes,
that we're drawing those figure eights.
This is the weird way. This is the way that people have a hard time sometimes conceptualizing, even if the body already knows what to do. So if you're having a hard time quite figuring out the mode of this, allow the arms to become involved, doing a freestyle, swimming forward here. That might help you when the hip follows the arm. And again, hands can stay on the waist if you prefer, or be on the shoulders, or yes, you can do your open arm swimming. And when you're ready, we'll come back towards stillness. Let's get a good official skeletal shake in, really grounding into our bodies here. Keep the feet nice and wide and really shake the energy down. We're going to draw it up again later, so don't you worry about that. But for now, we are in our bodies. We are not in La La Land yet. And if you want to let this shaking evolve into twisting, Brian's going to take us through some nice, quick Tibetan twists.
So, you can just start twisting, stop shaking, just twist, let the arms sort of flap. We're going to add in a breathing exercise to this. We're going to take the elbows back, take the palms out flat like you're skimming water at chest height. We're going to inhale as we twist to the right, exhale making the sound shh as we twist to the left. Shh, 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 shh. Continuing that breathing, let's turn the forearms up, face the palms at the head, goalpost arms. Shh, 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 shh. Continuing that breathing, let's take the arms out and down about waist height. You might feel this in a whole different section of the back every time we move the arm position. And when you're ready, we're just going to slowly make our way back to center. Feel free to shake it out.
Oh, that was so nice.
Twisting.
What a treat.
Good stuff.
So, what do we got next? I'm looking at my cheat sheet here, just off camera, I hope. Palm tree. Swaying palm tree and up downs. Which one do you want? Swaying palm tree?
Sure.
Okie doke.
Swaying palm trees. Let's bring our feet to about parallel hips width distance. So, it's like we're in Tadasana position. We're going to take the arms out into a T, palm face down. Inhale. Oh, bend to one side. Take your arms like you're grabbing a giant beach ball. Exhale back through center. Inhale, going to the other side, grabbing that beach ball. Exhaling back through center. We're just going back and forth like this, inhaling as we reach, exhaling as we come back to center. Imagine you're reaching up and then tilting over at the top of that. So we're not just collapsing from side to side, but we're like going up and over. It's elongating the sides of the body, nice long side stretches here. And when you're ready, you can just come back to center.
From here, shake it off again just for good measure. We're going to do our up downs. You can use a chair if you want. I'm going to show this first without a chair and then I'll show it with the chair. So this is like a half sun salutation. I'll show from the side, Brian will show from the front. Hands can come to the hips, feet are still about hips width distance and parallel. I'm going to inhale, tuck my tail, and lift my heart. Now, if your hands feel more comfortable in the low back, pointing up or down like this, feel free to do that. Inhaling, heart up. When you're ready to exhale, bend the knees, slide the hands down the sides of the legs, and don't forget to keep a bend in the knees. Exhale, forward fold. You might not need a bend in the knees as we do this practice, but let's start off with some nice bent knees. When you're ready to inhale again, we'll inhale, sliding the arms up the legs, hands come to hips or low back, heart comes up. Exhale, forward fold. Still bending the knees if you need to. Protect your low back. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, folding forward. And so you can continue doing this if you like. I'll show how to do it with a chair. So you turn the back of the chair towards you. Inhale, step towards the chair, lift the heart towards the ceiling. Exhale, step away from the chair, slide the hands down the back of the chair. Keep that bend in your knees. Maybe hands make it to the ground, maybe they stay on the chair. When you're ready to inhale, hands come back up the chair. Step towards the chair, heart comes up. Exhale, step away from the chair. Hands come down the back of the chair, heart comes forward. So whether you're doing this with a chair or just freestyle in the middle of the room, we'll do a few more. Pumping the synovial fluid in the body, waking up the spine completely, stretching through the back of the legs maybe a little bit, especially if you're finding it's easier and easier for you to keep less of a bend in your knees as you practice this. We'll do a couple more. Inhaling up, exhaling down. Last one, inhale up, exhale, coming down. Stay here in your forward fold. Again, you can keep a bend in your knees if you like. Tuck the chin towards the chest, letting the head stretch towards the ground. The neck is long. You can grab for opposite elbows. Gently let the body sway side to side here. Maybe shaking even a little bit, releasing through the low back, the lumbar spine. Keep a bend in your knees if you are shaking. And when you're ready, release the arms. Keep that deep bend in the knees. We're going to roll all the way up for one quick balancing practice. Inhale, shoulders up by the ears, down by your sides. Shake it off. All right, so I was going to do Garudasana, but I'm actually feeling like life pose might be the way today. So maybe we'll just do both. So Garudasana, eagle posture. I'm going to come a little closer to the camera so you can see what I'm doing here, because I'm going to get a little extra. And actually, maybe I'll show from the side, Brian will show from the front. So first, let's just kind of swing the arms back and forth, crossing them over each other, switching which arm is on top. And then next time, your right arm is on top. Keep it there. From here, we'll either bring the backs of the arms together, so to show you up close, like that, or you can take it to that next level and bring the palms together, like that. Then, wherever your hands are, ground into your left foot Spreading the left toes wide. Sit down a little bit here. Take the right foot out to the right. And then cross, find something to look at that will help you not fall down. Cross that right foot over the left, or cross that right leg over the left, I should say. So we're crossing above the knees. If you find that the right foot can tuck behind the left ankle, great. If not, don't be upset. You are not a yoga failure. From here, this is the challenge. Bring the thumbs to the third eye. Hello, Ajna Chakra. And sit down if you can. Maybe even bringing the elbows to connect with the knees. When you're ready, explode it open, shake it off. Yes, hooray, we did it. Same thing, other side. Taking the arms around in front of you like this. And next time the left arm comes on top, keep it there. You can either bring the backs of the arms together or take that right arm around the front of the left wrist and bring the palms of the arms together. We'll ground into the right foot this time, taking the left leg out to the left. Find something on the ground to gaze at so that you have a point of stability, a drishti. And then we'll cross that left over the right. Bring the thumbs, the third eye, and sit down. I know, it is a woo kind of pose. Garudasana, eagle posture. When you're ready to get out of this, exhale, shake it out, release. Brian's going to run us real quickly through life pose from kinetic yoga.
So let's start with both feet. Let's start with both feet, toes touching. So there's a little space between the heels. Spread the feet really wide, the toes really wide, and then we're gonna root into that right foot, and we're gonna step that left foot directly in front.
You know, I'm going to show this from this side as
Ooh,
well.
right? Challenging.
So Brian learned, our wonderful teacher Michelle Blue taught us this. She's a kinetic yoga teacher here in Baltimore. Brian learned in this practice that, what did you learn? Like if you bring the weight.
You can try to distribute your weight evenly along both feet rather than just putting it all on that back standing foot. Try to stand in both feet. That can help a little bit. Obviously keeping a little bit of a tuck in the tailbone or finding a spot in front of you that's not moving can help as well. And you bring hands to prayer.
There's a few things too I want to bring up about the legs here. You might find, depending on the abundance of your thighs, you might find that squeezing the thighs together, especially if you have more abundance, will actually help lift and help keep you stable and rooted through the feet. Also lifting up, taking us all the way back to week 1 and 2 of this series, lifting up through Mula Bandha. Well, you know, just lift up and then release it. You don't have to keep everything clenched. But lifting up through Mula Bandha will also help you stay in this posture. But the real challenge is coming next.
Try to close your eyes now. And even if it's a slow process, you could I try it by looking lower and lower and lower and lower, and then eventually maybe I can close my eyes. But you will find closing your eyes in this posture can make it incredibly challenging. So you can experiment with that as well. And feel free to come back into it if you fall out of it.
And our teacher Michelle always makes a point to remind us, don't forget to laugh or smile. It's totally okay to not have a super duper austere yoga practice, particularly in postures where you're not completely sure where you stand in them, meaning balancing postures. So if you fall out, smile at yourself, forgive yourself, have a little laugh, do what you need to do, and then you just step back in.
And when you're ready, just come out of this. Shake it out. Shake out both of those legs. And then we're going to do that same thing on the other side. So again, bringing those toes, big toes to touch. Spread the toes really wide. And this time we are stepping you can ground into that left foot, place that right foot directly in front of the left foot. You can bring the hands into prayer. Again, All the same clues on the other side, same hints. You could try distributing the weight a little forward, a little back. Maybe you can find a sweet spot in the middle, looking at a point that's not moving, keeping a tuck in the tailbone, pulling up on Mula Bandha, just bringing everything in and up to help with that practice.
Remembering if you pull up on Mula Bandha, don't just hold it up, lift and release, but keep that lift.
And then for the final challenge, closing the eyes. And just having fun with it. If you fall out of it, try to come right back into it. Just have fun. Ooh, look at it. And when you're ready to come out of it, just open it up, spread it out, shake it out.
Oh, very nice. So without further ado, we're going to come to seated. And I'm actually going to, do you want a shell, a rock, or a bottlecap?
I don't care, whatever you give me.
I'll give you the shell.
I use it all.
I'm going to come up to the camera so you can kind of see exactly what's happening. Find a comfortable seat. You can sit all the way back in your chair as long as the feet are flat on the ground. If the feet are not flat on the ground, feel free to grab a pillow or something and put under your feet. How are your feet? Do they feel flat on the ground-ish? Yeah, that's great. So you want a nice tall spine, but you also can take some support here because we're going to be seated for a little while. So we're about to do a practice called tratak. It is a cleansing practice for the eyes. Some people say it also cleans the mind. And it is a extremely stimulating practice for Ajna Chakra. Because when you practice tratak long enough, it actually helps you to start perceiving more and more subtle things around you, whether it's people's moods or just the vibe of a space, whatever it is. Traditionally, folks would practice this like maybe 10 minutes a day, and that would really get them extra perceptive. I would say it's, for our purposes today, we're just going to do it for a couple minutes. So we're going to do it with this object that I mentioned earlier, the bottle cap or the rock, the pebble, or the shell, or whatever it is that you have that is small and round and white. I mean, I guess if you had a very, very fresh dime, you could use that as well.
Button.
A button? Yes, a button is a great option too. So in your comfortable seat, there you go, yes, you can see me. In your comfortable seat. I should have mentioned at the beginning of this class, and I'll type it in the notes, if you're wearing contacts, pause the video, go take your contacts out, and then come back. Welcome back. So, if you're wearing glasses, see what I'm doing, and then practice them without the glasses. What we're going to do is bring this object, this bottle cap or stone or pebble or button or whatever small roundish whitish object, right in front of the face. Take the other hand, doesn't matter which hand you're using, bring the thumb to the third eye like this, and bring the pinky to the object like that. So you'll notice when you're doing this, so your eyes are pointing in and up. They're pointing towards Ajna Chakra. So from here we are. We're just hanging out here, gazing at our object. Now here's the tricky part. Try not to blink. If you do, don't worry, forgive yourself. Again, this is not an austere practice, we're having fun here. But just try not to blink if you can. And you'll find over time, as you do this practice, breathing deeply, keeping the eyes focused on this one point right here, that your eyes may actually begin to water, which is totally normal and fine. If they don't water, that's okay too. You might be a little dehydrated like me. This is early in the day for me, so I haven't quite had my full chunk of water yet. But if the eyes are watering, that is a good thing, because what that is doing is clearing out old proteins left in the tear ducts. You're cleaning your eyes by doing this practice, allowing for clear vision and clear movement of neurotransmitters. When you clean out your eyes like that, you feel better because it allows for the release of feel-good neurotransmitters. That's why people always feel better after a good cry. When you clear out that excess protein from the eyes, you're hitting the reset button. And don't worry, if your eyes aren't watering, that's totally okay. You can always take eye drops or something to help clear out the eyes too. So, no yoga failures, only yoga practices. If your arm is getting tired from holding this object up, you can always take the other hand, keeping your eyes focused on the object, and switch. And you can always recheck and see if the distance and the angle of the object you're looking at is still around where you want it to be. That hand's width distance from the thumb to the pinky tip, slightly up. Chin is parallel to the ground here. And you're breathing deeply, inhaling either from the belly or pelvic floor all the way up, exhaling from the top to the bottom, 3 or 4 part breathing. If you want to be really fancy, keeping your eyes open, you can try to introduce Shen breathing here, inhaling through that third eye, holding under the brain. Exhale through the back of the head. Inhaling through the back of the head, holding under the brain. Exhale through the third eye. And continuing. When you're ready, hands can come down, close the eyes here. With the eyes closed, you can take both hands to the shoulders and draw circles with the shoulders, either rotating one after the other or bringing them up and in and down so elbows are coming to touch maybe in front of you or coming towards each other in front of you. Just giving your shoulders a little release after all that holding up of objects. And then when you're ready, switch direction with the shoulder rotations, either taking them one by one the other way or drawing them out, back, down, and in front of you, together and up. And when you're ready, hands can come down by your sides, shaking your seat a little bit. Eyes are still closed. Maybe wiping away any little tears that might have showed up. Oh, that was such a touching practice. So one more eye thing. We did, some sort of muscular strain for the eyes. And, if you're dealing with like any kind of eye stuff, you want to balance that with loosening up of the eyes. So, and even if you're not dealing with eye stuff, you want to balance that up. So hopefully can you see what I'm doing here? Yes, okay. So let's bring one hand towards the face, focusing on the thumbnail now. We're gonna take that thumb up and over the right eye, all the way to the right, down and under the right eye, and back to center. The whole time focusing on that thumbnail. Again, up and over the left eye, all the way to the left, down and to the left, back to center. So we'll keep doing that, going up and over the right, all the way to the right, down and to the right, back to center, up and over the left, all the way to the left, down and to the left, back to center. One more time, really stretching those eyes out. You might be finding as you do this that there are spots or a spot or no spots where the eye doesn't want to go. Feel free to draw back and forth there a little bit if you want, as that thumb makes a circuit around each eye. Next time the thumb comes back to center, we'll take it down and to the left, all the way to the left, up and to the left, back to center, down and to the right, all the way to the right, up and to the right, back to center. Continuing 2 more times. Down to the left, all the way to the left, up and to the left, back to center, down and to the right, all the way to the right, up and to the right, back to center. Last time on your own, drawing these little infinity sunglasses here. And next time the thumb comes back to center, we'll close the eyes, take the arm down again. You could do little shoulder rolls here, just rolling the shoulders first forwards and then back, or vice versa. And then take both hands, eyes are still closed, and rub the palms together, building heat between the palms. When that heat is there, stop the rubbing and cup the palms over the closed eyes. You might feel the heat radiating from the palms onto the eyelids. You can open the eyes. Make sure the hands aren't pressed flat against the eyes, but just cupped over the eyes. See if you can see in between the fingers, or at least find the lines of the fingers. Slowly draw the hands away from the face. Bring them down to your lap. You got some bright, beautiful eyes. So from here, I think it's time for Nadi Shodhana, and then we'll do our meditation. I'll take the little shell.
Alternate nostril breathing, Nadi Shodhana.
I'm going to sit right next to you.
Some traditional ways to do this. You can take your left hand, you can just have it gently resting in your lap, or you can bring it into Chin or Yana Mudra if you like. That's with the fingertip, the pointer finger and the thumb touching like this. Right hand, pointer finger, middle finger come into the palms, and then you use the thumb and the ring finger to alternate different close different nostrils as we alternate the breathing. If this is too crampy on your hand, you could take these two fingers and place them on the third eye, Ajna Chakra. Maybe you want to do that for this practice.
Let's do that for today.
Just because we're actually doing that chakra
bring,
today.
Yeah,
we're trying to bring awareness there. So let's
awareness.
actually do that. Those fingers there. And again, thumb and ring finger closes the alternating nostrils. But I always tell people, if it gets too confusing, you can always just go like this to alternate the nostrils as well. So whichever you choose to do, before we alternate anything, let's take a big, deep inhale. Big exhale. One more of those. Big inhale. Big exhale. Now we're going to close off the right nostril and inhale just through the left nostril, slowly taking a big inhale. Close off both nostrils, retain the breath just for a moment. And then we're going to release the thumb and a slow exhale through the right nostril. And then inhaling through the right. Closing both nostrils, holding the breath. Exhale left. That's one full round. We'll do a few more of those. Let's inhale left. Hold the breath. Exhale right. Inhale right. Retain the breath. Exhale left. Inhale left. Hold the breath. Exhale right. Inhale right. Hold the breath. Exhale left. One more full round. Let's inhale left. Retain the breath. Exhale right. Inhale right. Hold the breath. Exhale left. And you can bring your hands down, breathe through both nostrils.
If you want to roll the shoulders one last time, feel free. We've done a surprising amount of shoulder stuff today, considering we're focusing on the third eye. All right, so for our meditation today, hands can be on the lap, palm face down, palm face up, one on top of the other, whatever feels good for you. Or you can try a mudra called Maha Shirsha. Shirsha is head, Maha is the greatest, or great, or strong, or wonderful, or auspicious. So Mahashirsha mudra is a mudra that is good for headaches, tension in the eyes, breaking up congestion in the frontal sinuses, and improving mental clarity. It's from an Indian tradition. And what it looks like is I fold my ring finger into my hand, that is on right might be a challenge, and then I take the thumb to the pads of the first two fingers and extend the pinky like this. Maha Shirsha. So if you would like to hold your hands in this chakra, feel free. And if you don't want to, that's okay too. No one's judging you. Find a comfortable seat, back against the chair. I'm totally going to bring my cheat sheet within the camera's eye here for Demo's Cave. So today for our meditation, I'm actually going to have it be a guided meditation. I'm going to be talking the whole time, and if that's too much for you and you want to do a traditional meditation, feel free to just mute us and you can meet up with us at the end. So I'm going to bring both hands into Mahashirsha for this. Let them rest, palm face up on the lap. Demo's Cave. So this is a meditation based on the ancient Indian turned Chinese sage, Bodhidarma. Well, Bodhidarma was his Indian name. When he migrated to China, they called him Damo. And Damo, some people say, I mean, he was alive 1,500 years ago, so there's the facts about his life are kind of iffy here and there, but he is believed to be the founder of Kung Fu and the Shaolin Temple. We've all heard about that. So he was a pretty auspicious guy. And so this meditation is based on him. He did spend quite a bit of time meditating in a cave. I'm sure it was many, many years, and people would bother him and he would be very angry. So he was actually known for his piercing gaze, and portrayals of him in Chinese sculpture show Damo as having these really intense eyes. If you look up Bodhidharma or Damo, I'll write it in the description of this video, you can see images of him for yourself. So from here, Damo's Cave, find a comfortable seat and just close the eyes, inhaling deeply and exhaling. Allowing the breathing to become even and natural, inhaling and exhaling, like the waves of an ocean, ebbing and flowing, the tide coming in, the tide flowing out. And as you breathe that ocean breath, flowing evenly back and forth, imagine yourself in that ocean, gently being pushed by the tides. The water is warm. You feel the quality of it wet against your skin. You feel the support of the ocean as you float along. You're nearby the shore. No need to get overwhelmed. And you allow that tide to draw you into the shore from that calm, warm sea. As you feel yourself approaching the slant of the beach, your knees and hands come to touch the sand, and you bring yourself to standing and walk out of the ocean, feeling the sand pressing down underneath your feet as you walk away from the ocean. What lays in front of you is a long field at the end of the beach and a mountain past that. So as you're stepping on the sand, you feel the sand give way to the field. It can be a field of whatever you like. It could be grass, it could be poppies, it could be corn, it could be wheat, it could be wildflowers. whatever you like. It could be pumpkins, whatever you like. It could be a forest. So you work your way through that expanse towards the mountain looming in the distance. And as you approach the mountain, the field does give way to a forest. Maybe it's a jungle, maybe it's a pine forest. Whatever your mind draws up when you think forest. You feel the ground harden as rocks become a part of the forest floor and the angle starts to go upwards as you find yourself walking a trail up the mountain. You feel your body exerting itself. You feel the sweat evaporating off your skin as you work your way up the mountain, feeling rocks under feet, grabbing for trees, for a handhold to help you pull yourself, winding your way up the mountain. A little ways up the mountain, you look to your left and you see an abandoned temple. There are 3 pools there. You take a look towards the temple and the 3 pools, knowing you can come back down the mountain at any point to really check it out and examine it. And you turn back to the trail away from the temple and continue your ascent. As you climb the mountain, walking your way up the trail, you're gaining energy from the rocks and trees around you. At some point, as the trail continues up towards the top of the mountain, you find yourself way up, looking back towards the field and the ocean that you came from. Turning back around, you see there's a fork in the trail. To the right, it continues up towards the top of the mountain, and to the left, it continues towards a cut in the rocks that you perceive as the opening to a cave. There is an animal standing outside the cave that greets you. It wants you to come in the cave, so you follow it, heading towards that cut in the rocks. As you enter into the darkness of the cave, your eyes take a second to adjust, and you perceive there's a long tunnel leading down the cave with some source of lighting. You aren't sure what it is. It could be thousands of fireflies. It could be sconces on the wall with fire in them. It could be glowing jewels. So you work your way down, down, down this tunnel. It seems to be going in a great, deep, wide spiral. Just a ramp, no steps. As you work your way further and further down the ramp, you perceive a greater light in the distance ahead of you. And that light grows and grows until you find that tunnel opening up into a large atrium. There's a lava pool in the back of the atrium, providing some light and plenty of heat. It's warm and inviting. You see a setup of comfortable chairs, maybe couches, maybe one of those epic modular sets. Whatever it is, not far from the lava pool. And above it, some bright light, a chandelier maybe, or just thousands of fireflies. As you look across that atrium towards the lava pool and the chairs and the light, you turn your head to the left and you see a podium. On the podium, which is up a little tiny, short, 3-step flight of stairs, you ascend to the top of the podium and look at what's on it. There's a book, a heavy leather-bound book with glowing golden writing on the cover that says, "All knowledge is power." You turn around and look behind the podium, and you see a door with a window in it. You can look through the door and you see some kind of very futuristic, complicated looking control center with two beings working quietly, peacefully in that control center. You turn back around towards the podium and look further to the left, and you see a set of stairs, only a few of them, leading up into the distance. So you descend from the podium and walk over to the stairs. They're wide, strong slabs of stone. The first one is red. You step onto this wide stone step and look to the right, and there's a door, a heavy stone door. Just on that first step. You push the door open and you perceive a huge desert in front of you, stuck in the middle of a sandstorm, so you can barely make it out, but way in the distance is a giant fortress made of stone. You hear the wind blowing, you feel the sand coming up to your face in a sandstorm, but not quite touching you, and you shut the door and turn around and ascend to the next step, which is orange. On the left side of the wide orange slab step is another door. It's made out of wood. It is what they call a Dutch door. It's a double door where the top and the bottom open separately. You open the top and you look through the door and you see a vast green expanse, as if you're on top of a mountain next to a mountain stream, and you're watching that stream work its way through the forest, down the mountain, all the way down to a harbor with ships with masts in it, old ships, and way in the distance, the ocean. You hear the babbling of the stream next to you as you perceive birds flying over the harbor, past the masts and sails of the ships. You turn back away from that door, shutting the top of the Dutch door. You step to the third step, a wide yellow slab. You look to the right this time, and there is an intricate, ornate glass and iron door. You open that glass and iron door, and you see yourself at the top of a building, way up at the penthouse, overlooking an ancient city. There are buildings everywhere, little streets in between them. You smell the smells of many different meals being cooked. Maybe it's dinner time. And you hear voices talking, chattering in the distance in a language you don't understand. You turn away from that scene, shut the iron and glass door, and ascend to the fourth step, which is green. A huge green, maybe malachite slab. To the left, there is no door, but a window, an open window. And through it you see nothing but clear blue sky. At some point, a giant eagle flies by. And then you turn to the top step. It is a brilliant, wide, opal slab, a shining white, rainbow opalescent step. You step up to it, and there is no door on the right or on the left, but there is a door above you, kind of like an attic door. You pull the door down so you can stick just your head up through the portal, and you see the universe around you. You see quasars and nebula and shooting stars, comets, asteroids, galaxies spinning away. And you bring your head back down, turn away from that door, and ascend and descend, coming back down the steps. straight across the atrium from you is another door. The podium is to your right, the lava and the comfortable seating to your left. You cross past the podium, past the lava, and you come to that other door, and you realize as you get to that door that that is home. And you open the door, and your world is spread out before you. It's not your literal home, but the home of your dreams. There is a kitchen with everything stocked, the food that you love, the utensils you love to cook with, everything you would need. There's a place to exercise. There's an entertainment center. There's a room for entertainment. And of course, there's your bedroom with a very, very comfortable bed waiting for you. Make your way to the bedroom. You lay down in the bed and you go to sleep, allowing your breathing to even out. Maybe returning to your Shen breathing, inhaling through the third eye area, holding under the brain, exhaling through the back of the head, inhaling through the back of the head, holding, exhaling through the third eye. Inhaling through the third eye, holding underneath the brain. Exhaling through the back of the head. Inhaling through the back of the head, holding under the brain. Exhaling through the third eye. When you're ready, you can release the hand mudra if you're still holding it. Shake the hands off, shake the wrists off, eyes are open or closed. Take a deep inhale, bringing yourself back to your body, and exhale. The meditation that I just taught you, Tamo's Cave, is great when you're trying to go to bed at night. If you can get through the whole meditation, find yourself in the bed, in that chamber at the end, then maybe you can continue that meditation in your dreams. When you're ready, let's inhale the arms out wide and up. Exhale, pushing the hands down, sealing in our practice with Prana Mudra. Again, inhaling, arms wide and up. Exhale, bringing the hands down. Last time, we'll inhale, arms wide and up. Exhale, palms to touch. Hands come to heart center here. So the bija mantra or seed sound for Ajna, the third eye chakra, is Om. A-U-M. If you want to bring your thumbs to your third eye for this, you're welcome to, just to continue to stimulate that energy center. So I'm going to inhale deeply and then chant Om, A-U-M, or Om, as you know it. So when you're ready, inhaling deeply. The light in me sees and honors the light in you. Thank you for practicing with us today. Namaste.
Namaste.
I'm Anne. This is Brian. You are practicing our Gentle Yoga Chakra series. Tune in next week for Sahasrara Chakra, the 1,000-petaled lotus that is on top of your head. Thanks.